Look at the shiny lights. Hey, what's going on, guys? Let's take a walk around the shop. So right off the bat, this is something you don't normally see in here. This is a 1985 Chevy Suburban. This is for our good friends over at the Hamilton Collection. You know, we always try to help them out wherever we can. We are currently fixing the AC on this and taking a look at the cruise control. Right over here, our tech Paul is actually doing it. We've got all the current state-of-the-art AC testing equipment, as well as, you know, a nitrogen tester, so we can really trace to make sure we get those leaks fixed. Over here, this is a cool one. This is a 1995 Japanese import E36 M3, so it is a European spec car, so it's got the different engine and all the fun stuff we didn't get here in the States. We did some interior work to it, added the M-Rain interior to the door panels, cleaned up the inside, installed a couple of parts for it.
Now tell us why the Japanese import ones are so cool, actually.
So the Japanese import ones are really cool because, so in Japan, it's very traditional that if you buy a car outside of Japan, you keep the side of the vehicle that you're driving on traditional to that country. So normally if this car came from England or another country that's traditionally a right-hand drive car, it would be a right-hand drive BMW, which makes it a bit difficult in the States. Well, this is left-hand drive. So you can get a European vehicle. Traditionally, also in Japan, you know, the color options and the interiors are a little bit more different than your traditional blacks and grays and stuff that you get in Germany. I know this car is white, so it's not the best example of that, but we're starting to see more and more cars that are being imported coming from Japan, just because, again, you can get a left-hand drive there. Pricing is usually a little bit less, and you get a little bit more variety. And also, because of their milder winters, the corrosion stuff on the car seems to be a lot better.
And it's got a normal UF, like, what engine?
Oh, thank you for reminding me of the best part about this whole car. So, under the hood here, we have got, so this is not what came in the States. This is a S50B30. This is a single Vanos, so a single variable timing, but individual throttle bodies. This is a 3-liter engine. Makes, I believe, don't hold me the exact figures, right around 280 horsepower versus the 240 that came on the US spec. So essentially the US spec motor is just a standard 3 Series motor, beefed up displacement and better cams. Because BMW didn't think that the US would pay the premium for this engine or maintain them. They are a lot more maintenance heavy than US motors, and it's probably true, to be 100% honest. So very rare to see these. They aren't, first time in my life as a longtime BMW fan, first time I've ever seen one in person, so it's a pretty cool thing to see. You also get with the European cars, glass headlights, so you won't, US requires plastic from new, so that's another big thing. Everything else is kind of underneath the vehicle. The suspension's a little bit different. It's got a little bit of a beefier diff, but yeah, just something different, don't normally see. And this is one of our longtime customers. He's got a number of Porsches as well. We actually did a full restoration build for him. He owns the, if you've seen in any of our socials, the Balmoral Green 964 on the TEs. So this is one of his other vehicles. Next to that, I'm going to talk about these two cars because they're actually owned by the exact same customer. These are both 1975 911s. We've got a 911 Targa. This is a Carrera. Oh, they're both Carrera, sorry. This is a 911 Targa, and this is a standard Carrera Coupe. This one, they both had light restorations done, so they've both been repainted to the jam, so not like full interior out or anything. This car was actually, all the body work and stuff was done by another shop. We just got involved with working on the engine. We actually also put JRZ coilovers on this car, which really transforms the ride of these older 70s and 80s 911s because it deletes the torsion bars. Gives a proper spring and coilover dampener in it. We upgraded the AC system. This is by a company called Griffiths. They remake the factory compressor upgraded, but they do all of the lines and everything. Porsche doesn't really make as many of the lines anymore, and so we use this company that gets that. So he changed over. This isn't the factory spoiler, so it's got the whale tail spoiler on it. Again, on the JRZs, it does have a little bit of changed camshaft profile, so it's a little bit of a sportier, hotter cam, so you're going to get a little bit more mid-range with it. Then this one is also a 75 coupe. This is completely stock. So this car we did the full light restoration on, so it's been completely repainted up to the jams. New rubbers on the outside. We got the wheels refinished. Interior is stayed. This car actually came to us and had an engine fire in the back. So we also did on this vehicle full OEM restoration. This one we went all the way down to the crank on. So this is full OEM restoration. You can see where we've re-zinced all the hardware and the pulleys. We got all new wires. Everything in it is either reconditioned or brand new from Porsche. This car is a no AC car. This is also a no front oil cooler car.
Yeah, I realized the no AC yesterday.
Yes. Yes, and it also, this was the first car I realized that they optioned in this era that you could get it with no front oil cooler. So we thought all of them pretty much came with front oil coolers. This one didn't. Behind us right here, this is a 1954 356 Speedster. It is a real Speedster. This is not a rep. This went through a complete restoration. All the metal, this basically had dents and damage on every corner of the car. So it's all been repaired and replaced with real metal. It's all done by Custom Cars over in LaGrange. It's got a full custom interior going into it. Right now we're dealing with fixing the wiring. So we pulled the harness out. It was a complete harness, put it back in, and we've been having a lot of electrical gremlins. So we're just having to relay using the factory wiring diagrams to get everything to work. But everything got repowder coated, blasted. Every heim joint is new. Every line is new. Every bolt is new. Transmission was sent out, completely rebuilt. Engine has been completely rebuilt. It was actually a pretty worn motor. The crank had way too much wear on it, so it's got a sourced, good condition 356 crank in it. New rods and pistons. Cylinders were all refreshed. New muffler that we had to do a little bit of modification on because it's hard. 356s went through a lot of little variations, and this is what's called a pre-A car, which is really, really hard to find stuff on parts-wise and information-wise. And when stuff is made, a lot of times it still doesn't perfectly fit, so we just got to massage it a bit and get it to all work as it should. This one over here, this is a fun one. We built this car back in 2020. This is a 964 coupe. Motor's been completely rebuilt. It's now a 3.8 versus the standard 3.6. It's on KW coilovers. It's had a bit of a track theme build to it. It's got no audio in it. It does have AC. It's in here. We're fixing an AC line that went bad, and we're actually making it a little bit more streetable. The car had Recaro pole positions in it originally when we built it. Sorry, I keep turning and you're turning at the same time, but we've now swapped it to, we're putting Sportster CS. So getting rid of the true bucket and getting a reclinable, easier to ingress and degress out of the vehicle and just a more enjoyable ride. So you can see, we got the red line floor panels and it's a very kind of cool theme. And then, so this is a 3.8, this is a little bit of a milder 3.8. It's just the motor's been bored out. So this is still on a stock ECU. It does have a tune chip in it, but it's not quite as aggressive as some of our other 3.8 builds, but it does give you a nice bump in mid-range and upper feel. And if you've got to do the 3.6 rebuild, I would always say at the very least bump it up to a 3.8 because it really kind of transforms the car for you. And like I said, it's got KW coilovers, just redid the calipers for them, a braid aftermarket wheel on it. It is going to be getting new tires soon. These are pretty aged out, so we will be replacing these for it as well. And then we've got the red line headlight assemblies on it. Now, something that if you've been watching our socials at all, there's been a car here for a few months now that's been primary most of our attention that's not here. That is our 930 turbo build. That's because the metal work is completed and it's off to its next stage of paint and body. So car's getting a complete custom paint job. So it's going to be spending about the next 6 to 8 weeks at body before it will come back here. So get to take a little bit of a break, but the metal work is done. There is another project coming. We're going to keep that under wraps, but the next one is lined up. But here's all the tools and everything. He's got to clean up his mess now that it's going. This is the rest of his tools and a few of the other metalwork pieces we've got going on. Then we come to this car over here. This one's a really fun car because customer We had a customer that was doing actually the lime green metallic 930 turbo. He also owned this car, and he had us help him sell it on P-Car Market. The guy bought it. He lives out in Vegas. Originally, he wasn't going to do anything. And it went from not doing anything to we have completely repainted the car. Most of the rubbers have been replaced on the vehicle. We haven't done an engine build, but we've done a lot of bolt-on. So we've got a customer wanted to do, he sent us, we got a Fab Speed intercooler. It's got a stock brand new turbo on it. It already had the AC system done. We had the CIS fuel system sent out, completely rebuilt, as well as the warm-up regulator. It's got a Fab Speed exhaust system on it that the customer gave us to put on it. It is now on full JRZ coilovers. We've got new wheels, new tires. We've also done a number of interior modifications that are still in process. This is a build that keeps escalating as we go along. So we actually completely gutted this. This is a whole new carpet kit. It's got all Dynamat underneath, so we've gotten rid of the stock sound ending because it was pretty badly beaten up. It's got all new, like I said, Dynamat in there. We've done a complete custom audio system, so we actually have a sub underneath the passenger seat. Here's the amplifier for it, custom speakers in the door. It's going to have a Porsche Classic head unit that's right there. We also have installed a numeric racing shifter kit, which is an awesome shifter. If you've got a 7080s Porsche, actually any air-cooled Porsche, and you really want to enhance the not so great stock shifting feel of these cars, this is a go-to. We also did some Redline pedal covers, numerics, actual pedal upgrade. But yeah, it's just evolved more and more, and it's really turned into, we're now doing the final fuel tuning. So we sent the CIS out, got it completely rebuilt, and now our main tech, engine tech, Pat, will actually stick, this is an O2 sensor, he'll put it in the exhaust, and he'll be able to adjust the fueling and read it off the wideband to get it all dialed in. I guess I'll move to this guy right here behind it. This is an 84 911. We are not doing anything with the body. This is a customer's driver. You know, he drives this pretty much daily. He just wanted, we are redoing a lot of the suspension. Just, you know, fresh control arms, the brake calipers were sticking, got those done, new wheel bearings, new stock shock inserts. So it may look old on the outside, but there's a brand new shock in there. Not too much needed with the rear. We did some bushings, we did the brakes. But he did have someone else rebuild the motor on it. Sorry, ditch you right over there. So we didn't do anything with that. Just, you know, again, we're not all about the ground up restos. You know, little projects here or there, big or small, we are here to help with that. So, but we're kind of on the tail end of, this has been a fun one. And we're doing AC upgrade also on this one. We've got some new Morimoto-based HID lenses. So it's a stock-looking lens, but it has an HID filament in it, so it gives a nice little bit of updated light look to it. Next up on the list is, this is a 1987 cab. Car has been sitting for a number of years. Customer got it out, and it was smoking like a chimney. As soon as this thing warmed up, it was bellowing smoke everywhere. So the motor for it is sitting right here. What we found is we had bad piston rings and bad valve seals in the heads. So we did what's called a top end rebuild. So essentially we broke this motor down to the bare case. We did not crack the case, did not need to, it had good compression. And it got, the cylinder heads went through, they got new valve seals and new valve springs. Got that taken care of. It's got brand new piston rings. The cylinders and the pistons are completely measured, checked to make sure there's no out of rounder issues with them, but it's got all brand new rings. Then from there, it's got all brand new seals. We did do new spark plugs in it, but then at that point, it's, you know, we let the customer know, hey, this sensor or that is bad, but it's not a full overhaul restoration. We did go through and help him out. He asked, we did vapor blast the valve covers and the timing covers and kind of cleaned up the intakes a bit just to freshen it up for him. So this is a motor out of a 85 G-body. We aren't doing anything to this engine. This had already been gone through the previous time. It's actually already got a car graphics exhaust system on it. We're doing a lot of paint work to the car and some other things to it, but this is just storing the motor. We've got a couple of these engine stands in the floor all over the shop. So this one's just sitting here. Behind it, though, underneath, well, I guess here, we'll start, you're pointing the camera at that. Pulling in, this is a 1988 928S. So this is one of our longtime customers' cars. We did a fair amount of work to it last year. It's had a lot of little things done. Generally, you know, these aren't the best cars to go to big restoration in just because there's just not the support out there. It's kind of the sad thing. It is a super cool car. It's got we got the V8 under the hood of this guy. Got the reverse flipping up lights. So, but we did, you know, thermostat, water pump, a few of those things to it last year. This year we're doing, it's already had a timing belt done a couple years ago, but we are fixing a couple oil leaks on the front. It is on new OEM suspension, so it's got fresh Bilstein dampeners and springs all around. This is on Boxster wheels. We did swap it just to get a little bit of a bigger wheel. We completely refreshed and repainted the brake calipers on it just to give it a little bit of different look. It's a bit dirty right now, but it did have a full paint correction done last year, which helped wake up the overall look of the vehicle a lot. It's really amazing what you can do with those paint corrections. Interior wise, you know, we cleaned up the leather a little bit. We put a Porsche Classic radio in it. We actually had the gauge cluster sent out, was completely rebuilt. It had a couple of bad gauge boards in it, so we got that fixed. But again, it's a clean car overall. We're just, you know, sprucing it up and helping give this customer the exact 928 that he wants, but keeping it within the budget that he wants. So, all right, moving over, we got two left in here. I know I say every car is a fun car, but this is another fun one. This is a 996 GT2. It was a 2002. Longtime customer of ours, but this car has been sitting since about 2020, really has not been driven. And he brought it over just for, you know, an oil change and check over, and we actually found the diff is going to need to come out. It's got a lot of metal, was making a lot of noise. Not sure exactly how it happened, but it's definitely in need of some help. So the diff's going to be coming out of this car. We're going to be we got fresh tires going on it, and then we did an oil change. We got to fix a little coolant leak on it, and just, you know, making sure everything's good to go on it. But that is that's a cool car. 2-wheel drive, twin turbo, 6-speed manual. You don't see a lot of those out there. And finally, we got this fun guy. So this originally is so I should preface this. We have done this is the first time we've seen this car. We have not done any of the work to it, but it's got some pretty cool stuff on it. It's a 1975 Carrera. So this was originally a narrow body car. So at some point we've had wider fenders put on it. It is all metal too. It's not fiberglass. It's had the quarters in the back largened. It's got some cool Fuchs type style wheels. It's got upgraded sway bars on it. It's pretty clean underneath. A little bit of corrosion right here, but not too bad. But it's got upgraded sway bars on it. It's got front and rear. It's got a little bit updated. It's got like a Bilstein sports shock on it, but nothing too crazy. It's got a pretty interesting exhaust manifold system on it. It has been converted to a twin plug. What I say by that is 964 and 993s actually use 2 plugs per cylinder versus 1. They use the added spark to help with ignition. This car has been converted to a twin plug. It's also been converted to carburetors. This was originally a mechanical fuel injection car. It's been converted to carbs. So it's been sitting, he actually stored it with some bad gas in it over the winter, so it's got some pretty bad misfires and not running great. So we're putting a fresh set of plugs in it, and then Pat, our engine guru, is going to be tuning up the fueling, cleaning up the carbs, and just getting it dialed in so he's got it for summer. We got one last thing, not a huge, but over here here's a Porsche case split in half. So this is actually the case halves for our 930 project. They have just come back from machining. They have been bored, so they'll accept a 3.5 liter piston and cylinder from the standard 3.3. So, but this is the early stages. At this point, we will get the oil pump rebuilt, and then we will start getting bearings in, measuring clearances, and start that fun process. So, but this quick walk around the shop. Again, my name is Ed. Feel free to reach out to us any of our socials, info@olsenmotorsports.net, and have a great rest of your day.